Well, just incredibly excited to be here to bring our team out to North Carolina State and to be a part of this NCAA tournament. Thrilled for our team. Obviously, the second year in a row that we're doing this, trying to change the direction of our program and the tradition of our program, and these players and this team, and predominantly the entire team that's back has really started to do that. So excited that they're experiencing this. We're looking forward to a great game, and this is what you do 365 days a year to prepare yourselves for and to get ready for, and we want to put our best foot forward.
All right, thank you, Coach. Let's open it up. Colton, let's start with him back there.
How do you see the experience of playing in last year's tournament helping this? I know that, rebuild kind of started recently and it's still new territory, but having been in it last year and going in it again, I'd maybe coming in with less jitters this time?
I hope that. I feel like between that and just players experiencing, playing North Carolina State early in the year, Miami, having the schedule that we've had throughout the year, putting ourselves in really tough environments, the pack, the environments of the crowds that you have to face. I think different than a year ago when you didn't face any of those things, different from a year ago when it was all brand new and no crowds and the bubble and, first time, like you said, maybe jitters. And I just hope that we're just a year further along in our journey, and these players have played unbelievably huge amounts of minutes, and you just hope that they feel loose and confident and free and just swing for the fences.
Let's go to Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Kelly Gramlich. We're calling the game tomorrow, so super excited for that. First of all, Ledger Walker sisters are impressive. There's no doubt about it. And I know Crystal played for you at Northern Colorado. Can you tell us the story of how you discovered these sisters from New Zealand? Yeah,
at Northern Colorado, we had a very small budget, and so everything we did was just watching film online, and we lost a player late in the season that wanted to transfer and didn't have a scholarship prior to that, and we had seen a film of Crystal earlier and really liked her, but just didn't have a spot for her. And then when that scholarship opened up, we just jumped at the opportunity. She was well on her path to choosing a school. She already had 5 visits set up, and we started talking to her and just tried to bust through the door and get a visit. And luckily, we were able to be one of the 5 that she just made that whirlwind of in the States for 2 weeks and just went from visit to visit to visit, and just feel fortunate that we were able to really build a good relationship late in the process. And I think she just caught an idea of our vision of what we wanted to become, and her mother is a really unbelievably great coach, and she's and a tough coach and a fiery competitor, and I think she's been around coaches like that her whole career, and I think she felt a comfort in our staff, and the challenge of coming to the States is in and of itself, and then we were lucky to get her at Northern, and the story is she stayed an extra year and then decided to come join us. I think really kind of recommitted herself to her journey of what she wanted to accomplish, wanted the challenge to compete against the very best, and she's made the most of it. She sat 1 year, which ended up being unbelievably beneficial because all of a sudden now her sister comes in and she can play with her, and then COVID allowed a second year. And there were times during this year that we were like, COVID's going to take this year away too, and then we started laughing that maybe she'll be playing with her other little sister at some point. She's just going to keep playing until her other little sister becomes eligible. But we've been really fortunate to be able to watch her growth and her maturation and her leadership skills, and she's just been a key for us in our build.
Let's go back to Kelly, and then we'll come up front, and then we'll get Colton.
Okay, and then Charlize comes along, and obviously she's a big part of your team. So was Crystal saying, look, I've got a sister, she's pretty good? How did that work?
Well, we knew her sister. Her sister is very well known, and we knew we weren't getting her at Northern, and quite frankly, when we left Northern, I don't know that sat well with her family and just us leaving. That's just always a hard thing that happens when when you leave a program and go somewhere else. And I think we gave their family a lot of distance and time, and we weren't sure if Charlize would even remotely consider us. And we were able to just, stay with it and give them some time and let her go through her recruiting process in the early stages. And thankfully, she, I think just the previous relationship really helped us. I think, Crystal coming around and understanding that she wanted to try another level and to follow us out, it all just worked out in our favor. But, Charlize had opportunities to go pretty much anywhere she wanted. And again, just a game changer for our program.
Lindsay, do you have a question?
I do, yeah.
Lindsay,
Yeah.
if that's on video, I'm afraid you
It's
cannot.
not video. It's not
Wonderful, just checking. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Just getting the audio.
That's fine.
Coach, we talked a little bit with Longwood about this, about building a program that doesn't have an established reputation, necessarily in women's basketball. What qualities are you looking for in players? What type of player does it take to want to come and establish a legacy as opposed to join a legacy?
I think that's on the player. I think there's some great players out there that really gravitate to being the first, being a part of that first group that hangs a banner, or there's not really another women's basketball banner hanging in the rafters because there hasn't been that great of a tradition. Making tournaments. I mean, some people really gravitate to that. I would tell you that it's been a struggle a little bit at Washington State just because there's been so little success. I mean, there's not very many programs that haven't had times of pretty good success in NCAA tournament appearances. And we fight that. We fight that in the Pac and competing against the great teams and programs and traditions in the Pac-12. So I don't think that's ever going to go away. We got to continue to build that. But we really believe in the kinds of players that gravitate to Washington State. Gritty, tough, passionate. Again, I think people that see our vision of what we want to do and where we're going. I think I've made a lifetime and a living at being, doing more with less. I think my AD talks about that a lot. And I think programs at Washington State are really doing that. I think the quality of coaching that we can give players to develop them, the minutes that they can play early in their career develops them and maximizes them and their ability as a basketball player. And I think our culture is so rock solid strong now that players, when they come and visit us, they see something special going on. They want to be a part of it. And they think they're going to become better players, and I think they understand that they're going to be great teammates when they leave. And if you do those two things, you're going to be an unbelievably great professional at whatever you're doing when you leave.
Colton, did you have a question?
I know you just talked about the Ledger Walkers a bunch, but I was wondering if you could kind of speak on how key they've been in the rebuild, and especially or particularly Crystal. And you've talked about how much of a rock she's been for the program, and just helping kickstart the program and kind of what they've meant to this whole thing.
Well, I think I don't want to minimize even the seniors that have only heard our voice for 4 years. Sheer Levy, who's not with us, she had to have a neck surgery, and Michaela Jones, and actually Ula, who hopefully will be coming back for another year. But those 4 have only heard our voices, and they came before Crystal. And we kind of got our brains beat in for those first 2 years. Not very much of a roster, and had to rebuild the roster and change the culture and change the language and change what was allowed and not allowed, and what a locker room should sound like, and what a gym should sound like, and how you train, and your work ethic and your commitment level and your loyalty, and all of those things just had to be reworked. And like I talk about it all the time, we had to be kind of behavior cops that whole first couple of years of, nope, that's not it, yep, that's good, and body language and energy levels and what you do are you a giver, are you, all those things. We had to really work at all those things, and it was starting to happen. I mean, that started from the day we walked in the gym, and those seniors now, 4-year seniors now, even while we were getting beat, we were changing that foundation. And then you add kids that are already those things, that kids that are committed and know what excellence looks like and know what it means to compete at the highest level and want that challenge. And that was Crystal by the time she comes in. You know, sits a year, trains, rededicates herself, changes her body. Now all of a sudden her voice is in the gym. It's loud. That's contagious. You know, and then when you add Charlize, the year that Crystal can play, I honestly believe it was just like a multiplication. Like, it wasn't just you add 2 players. They multiplied. You know, whatever those 2 were, it was like everybody in the gym became way better. And I think Ula was talking to someone off of Oregon, an Australian off of Oregon's team that first year, and we had a chance to beat Oregon on a last-second shot and missed that, and they just went, what the heck? They told Ula afterwards, like, what's happened to you guys? And she just said, the sisters. And I really do. I mean, they just, they're self-aware people and self-aware athletes, and they're not afraid of, you know, criticism or coaching, or they're high IQ players. They want to be good. They want to be challenged at the highest levels. They're all in every way. They're great communicators. They never say a wrong word to the team or in a locker room setting. They don't complain. It's just when you get those kinds of leaders, you know, only good things can happen. And then you combine it with unbelievable leadership in Mick and Sheer and the other people that have been in your program all that time. It really, when the culture piece fits with the talent level, it really can add to the success of your program.
Let's go to Sam.
Hi, Coach. I'm Sam, calling the game with Kelly tomorrow. There are a lot of logistics that go into an NCAA tournament. Part of the reason we call it madness is for the travel. So you guys have to come across the country, and you play at now 8:30 in the morning Pacific time. I know you guys have a lot of travel in the regular season, but what kind of added challenge does this add to your team? And is that something you're going to talk to your players about, you know, kind of getting their bodies ready for an early game?
Well, and then you add the time change, you know, it's really kind of 7:30 to our bodies. So, you know, we work out 2 mornings in the year, so we're pretty accustomed to getting up and practicing early. I do think you have to be concerned and you know, just catching up to the sleep in the right way. I think we were really tired on that first trip on Wednesday when we came, but you know, you just try to get your kids to stay up all day at this point and get a great night's sleep, and we got them up about the time we'll eat tomorrow. Today we did that, even though we didn't really have to. Just do everything that you can to kind of simulate what a game day will look like. But again, I think we're fired up to be here. This is just the coolest experience that we can offer our players. This is what they train for. We need to live in it and be in the moment, and we don't have a complaint in the world.
Okay, let's go front to Lindsay, and then we'll get Colton with the last question after that.
Just wondering what your thoughts are on the matchup tomorrow in the game and Kansas State, and especially obviously that center they have. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, congratulations to K-State and you know, Jeff and his staff and everything that they've done to get that program at this spot. And they're a hard matchup. You know, obviously, you want to think that the Pac has prepared you for whatever you might face against another power conference school. Lee is a little bit unique. We haven't seen anyone like her. We certainly haven't seen anyone that scored 61 on someone. So, and we're not real big, so it's a concern. We have to figure out ways to try to make life hard for her. But again, they're talented around her, and they're confident, and you know, really great young players that have to feel really confident at this point in the season. So. We can't change anything that we are. We just have to be who we are, and we have to trust that this process has gotten us ready to play against, you know, K-State. And so we're going to do our best, and I just want to, honestly, you just want your team to, you know, try to handle the nerves and try to handle the moment and really just go out there and have a lot of fun and leave the court with no regrets.
Okay, let's go to Colton for the last question.
I heard you talking the other day about, you know, kind of playing down the background with Kansas State, but I'm wondering what was kind of your, you know, initial reaction when you saw Kansas State pop up in your former team, where it's kind of like, oh gosh, of course they picked, you know, this matchup. You
know, I don't know if the NCAA knows or doesn't know, you know, histories of little peon coaches and stuff. But I just think it's ironic. I mean, that's the only thing I would say. Our players hardly even know, half of our staff went to K-State or were at K-State and have no idea how many years we were there. I'm proud of what we accomplished at K-State when we were there. I think, love that opportunity. I think and I think Jeff's done a great job, and the Big 12 is amazing, and I think they've been great this year. I think everybody has, we can all just have circles, how we touch other programs and the connections that we have, especially if you've been in the game this long, it's bound to happen. And again, I think this whole process has nothing to do with the coaches. It's just completely and totally our team and those 13 individuals that I get to coach and the opportunity I get to have to coach them one more game. And I'm super excited, and I want to put them in the best position that I possibly can to make sure that they're successful.
Okay, let's squeeze in one more with Kelly.
One more, Coach, one more. We all know you were part of that Texas team that won a national championship, and so you have seen the sport grow so much in 30 years and seen the tournament change. You have a March Madness logo behind you for the first time. Can you give us some of your thoughts on how the game has changed and what you've seen?
Well, I mean, gosh, I think it's grown. It's there's just no comparison to what it was. But quite frankly, it's probably from last year to this year, it's grown more in that 1 year than and some changes within the NCAA probably happened more this past year than it has in 20 years. So. But I also know that there are ADs out there that believe in women's basketball and are investing in women's basketball, and mine is one of them, and they're giving us every opportunity to succeed, and I think that is the difference. Many more programs that are doing that, and now the NCAA is kind of on point, and there's transparency. There's some more accountability, and I think that's a great thing for what we're doing right now. The advertisement, selling out the spots. It just shows that there's a chance for growth, and there's a chance for monetary growth, and it wouldn't have happened probably if we hadn't had the bubble. So I think things like that happen for a reason, and we need to take advantage of it, and we need to keep the pressure on. But obviously, I'm really proud of being given this opportunity at this high of level. So. Hopefully generations in the future are just going to enjoy kind of the growth that it continues to have and opportunities to market ourselves and and grow the game to another level.